Yeah, g'day fellas. Welcome back to another race guide. This week's Daily Race C is Fuji International Speedway and not the short version. We were dreading this one coming along when we saw it on Kudos Prime. Not a huge fan of Fuji. Monday night we did the old live stream, took the GDR out for a thrash. And then Tuesday night came around and the leaderboard was full of MR cars, so we grabbed a few and tried them all out, and found out pretty quickly that we're not an expert in driving MR cars. So Wednesday night came around, we had a bit more of a grind, and then we saw a couple of FA cars in our friend list, the Viper and the Aston Martin, so we picked up the Viper and cut a couple of laps, and this car came to us pretty quickly. As you can see, only about 90 kilometers on the clock there, and managed to drop in 37.0. So we'll run through that lap, and I'll try and impart all the things I've learnt over the last few days, and hopefully a few of those can help you improve your time. As always, Fuji Sector 3 is very, very difficult, but without further ado, let's jump on board Chase View. The joke's getting old now, but we will start with turn 1, braking at what feels to me like I'm next to the 150 board. There you can see we're a little bit before it. Threshold braking for a very long time, and we do try and sneak a little trail brake in. Probably could have done that a little bit better. Trying to use all the road on the exit. Be careful about just dropping the rear tyres in that gutter. That will turn you around and you'll be facing backwards. Nice little squirt down the straight here. Braking just after the 100 board. Eyes on that bollard. We'll take a look from outside of the car. So it looks about the 80 metre marker, so I feel myself go past the 100 board, then I start looking for this bollard. Threshold into trail braking, trying to clip that bollard on the way through. Back to wide open throttle as early as possible, using all the runoff. Get back on the road before the grass though, otherwise you will pick up yourself a penalty. And now we just lift off the throttle and start coasting through here. Once you see that concrete, it's time to get back to wide open throttle, braking at about the 75 to 80 metre mark in here and facing towards the right hand side of the road. It looks like it's about halfway, but I think it's a bit further back there, so about the 80 metre mark. Get up on the curb, downshift back into third, try and pick up some of the ripple strip on the left hand side there. Let the car run out to the right hand side of the road. I've just learnt after watching a couple of other laps in the Viper that we should be short shifting. You'll notice that I'm not short shifting, so right above that red one there and the MT is probably where we should be shifting in this car. Probably should have picked up 6 down here, but we didn't. Braking under the Dunlop sign, threshold, and we're going to try and get a little bit of braking. These big long brake zones here, quite difficult to get right. We're going to take all this curb. Just keep your left-hand tyres on the curb to avoid a penalty. Drop the left-hand wheels in the gutter here to help hook the car around. And short shift up into third. Use all the green stuff. Take out the bollard. Now we're really trying to move the car back to the left-hand side of the road here. And this is the hardest part on this circuit, and we'll lose all the time. Very gentle on the brakes. Nothing over half brake pressure. And trying to get back on the throttle as early as possible, picking up the green stuff on the left hand side there. Once again we'll see very, very light braking, and it'll be balancing the throttle and the brake here to get the car to bite. It's really hard. Too much brake will push the car wide, not enough brake and you'll have too much speed and run wide. So really try and balance the car. I was trying to get back over to that curbing. I don't think you need to. There's quite a few lines for this corner. I'm leaving about a car width these days. Getting it narrow. Once again, no full braking. Light on the accelerator. Once we see that white strip on the curb on the right hand side, we are pretty close to being wide open throttle. And now down here once again, try and short shift this Viper. As you can see, we didn't have much mileage in it. And this lap was a bit of a hustle lap. So we'll jump on board in fast mode. So brake balance rear 1, sector times up the top, threshold, a little bit of trail, trying to pick up the curb there, just ran wide a touch. Concrete runoff, trying to clip that, braking just after the 100 board, spot the bollard, turn in, try and collect a little bit of bollard, use all this curb on the exit, get back on the road before the grass, part throttle, coasting around here, see the concrete, wide open throttle again, braking halfway between the 100 and the 50, trying to pick up the curb on the left hand side, let the car drift to the curb on the outside, short shift up through the box, braking under the Dunlop sign, big threshold braking into a little bit of trail, leave your left hand wheels on the road, all the curb at a minimum, don't get the penalty, drop the left hand tyres in there, try and straighten out that, get the car back to the left hand side, now a light trail braking, wide open throttle, back into trail braking, a downshift to help the rear rotate, try and just be as smooth as possible through here. This lap is a little bit jerky, mainly because we're trying to hustle, but generally the smoother the better around there. Definitely medium to high 37s possible with a clean last sector. This particular lap we did just really hustle in there though. So now on board for the bumper, guys. You blokes know what you're looking at. I'll just try and say things that I've forgotten to say already. So we've covered the short shifting and the brakes. Really using all the track width here. We're turning in from the curbs and then finishing the turn over the curbs generally. Really difficult corner here. I lift off in 5th gear there and take a long time to close the throttle. That helps the coasting. This car doesn't really bag it up in 3rd at wide open throttle in the middle of the rev, so you can get on the accelerator pretty quickly. This one's super difficult. Some people are using 1st to help rotate the car in there. I've tried 1st, 2nd and even 3rd, would you believe. 2nd feels okay and does get the job done. Once again, nothing over half brake pressure, pretty much almost bang on half brake pressure. Most of the top 10 replays, if you bother watching, they'll stop right on about 50%. That white stripe is your accelerator go time. And yeah, so the way we worked ourselves up to this lap was working on our sectors 1 and 2 so that we're always arriving at the end of sector 2 at around the same time, and that really allowed us to start practicing sector 3. Other quick cars here that I don't necessarily recommend is the Lambo. That seems like it could be super fast, but I find it really difficult to drive. We might even spend some time in that over the weekend, see if we can learn a bit more about these MR cars. See, most of these turn-ins are from off the curbs, so just make sure you are using all the track width, and we're clipping curb on the exits most of the time as well. Viper seems like an okay car to drive. Bit heavy over the front axle, but not too bad. I think 2nd gear is where it really likes to fry the tyres, or if you've got too much steering lock in, that will tend to bag up the rears. But yeah, so hopefully we've been able to impart a few tips and work on your time. I'm not sure we'll be doing a viewer review this week. We're sort of running out of time. Next week will be Monza. So I'll see you all there. If you're new here, give it the like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.